Corner, fighting out of Fort Worth, Texas, weighing in at 147 1/2 pounds, with a professional record of 7 wins, 1 defeat, with 6 KOs. Ladies and gentlemen, here is Anthony White. And in the blue corner, fighting out of Albuquerque, New Mexico, weighing 148 pounds, with a professional record of 6 wins, no defeats, 4 KOs, introducing the undefeated Henry Anaya Jr.
Don't forget what I told you guys about breaking when I tell you to break. You understand that? You break when I tell you. Shake hands and good luck.
The referee is Davy Pearl, walking back with Anthony White. He's wearing the yellow trunks. You might have recognized Dave Gorman in his corner. And across the way, Henry Anaya Jr. He's a young welterweight out of Albuquerque. And this one is scheduled for 6 rounds. And they come out, and both are right-handed.
Amazing. And Don LeMaster also working in the corner there right now.
Boy, Anaya with an overhand right that rocked White.
This is not a night to go to the refrigerator for a snack, is it?
No, it isn't.
You know, Ken Dennis pointed out that this has been one of my best nights of scoring so far.
So far, you've been right on it.
And you know what's really bad for the crowd here? No ring card girl has had a chance to set foot in that ring.
It does take some of the ambience out of the room, no question about it.
Boy, Anaya, who's always an aggressive fighter anyway, comes out even more aggressive and lands a big overhand right against White. Oh, man, this is not for the faint of heart tonight.
White says this is scheduled for 6. I'd like to get my feet in the ground and kind of get a feel of the ring. Anaya just banging away from all sides. White's in yellow, Anaya in the black trunks. That right hand throws the crowd, and I'm sure has some effect. Boy, he nailed White with it again.
Real overhand right. It loses a little power when it's delivered that way, but it gets in there.
It does indeed. I was going to suggest a moment ago that a straight line would be the best means of transportation. Just then he nailed White with it, and White's knees buckled. So,
well, sometimes you're right, Tom, but sometimes because the man's taller, he needs to throw the looping right, but a straight right would be better. But when you're landing like that, it doesn't matter.
Boy, Anaya really must have an early date. Either that or he's double parked. He just, everything is a,
And good body shots as well by Anaya.
Oh, he hasn't given White a chance to take a deep breath. He's had him up against the ropes, trying to fend him off. Hits him a shot just a little bit below the label on his belt. Banging away again. Anaya's non-stop. Now White starts to throw a few of his own.
Now,
back with the right hand.
Excuse me, Tom. One thing to know about Anaya, we saw him start very fast against Joey Camacho here in October, and he won the fight, but he didn't sustain this kind of effort through the whole fight. So if he doesn't get White out of there, which right now it doesn't look like he's doing, White may come back.
Well, you'd have to be a wind-up toy with a huge mainspring to maintain this kind of action throughout the entire 6 rounds. Oh, White's coming back with some solid and sharp punches.
Slapping with some of those, but still getting through. This has been an interesting first round, to say the least. I mean, a lot of action.
Again, that overhand right thrown by Anaya. He has White against the ropes.
If you like quick hands, both these fighters have that, that's for sure.
And now White starts to come back as a very busy first round is coming to a close. Round 2, right after this message. Hold it!
If the main weapon for Henry Anaya, this overhand right that got to the head of White and rocked him, but boy, Anthony White came back strong.
And we are back with live action in round 2. Nice solid jab by White. He's in the gold trunks, showing some movement now, and he's bouncing around and nailing Anaya.
Now, you just said movement. Boy, that is a key. If you give Henry Anaya some lateral movement, it's going to really make it more difficult. There's a good example. Just a little, just enough. In our main event, that's what Robin Blake is going to have to do to Harold Brazier.
Well, White is certainly doing just that. He's scoring well, got a nice jab going, and he's moving. The lateral stuff. Nice left-right combination by White, and a solid left and a right. And he certainly has got Anaya's attention. This round number 2 scheduled for 6 in the welterweight division.
Boy, a fight like this is when you want somebody to talk about you as a matchmaker, huh? I mean, because you put two young fighters in with good records, and they wage a war. That's what you like to see.
White is 7-1, and 6 of those 7 victories have been knockout wins. 6-0 for Anaya, and he's knocked out 4 of the guys that he's defeated. They're toe-to-toe.
Maybe I should mention Bruce Tramp when he put this match together. It's a good one.
Anaya with his man up against the ropes, and White slips away and comes out toward the center of the ring. White is not unlike a lot of fighters, most effective when he's got that jab working properly for him. There's that overhand clubbing right hand, and comes again from Anaya.
White going to the uppercut now, which was Anaya's big punch in the first round. Now White is doing it. We'll give Anthony White credit. He faced an onslaught in the first round. He learned what he could do.
Oh, right hand by Anaya had White's knees buckled, and White's against the ropes trying to clear the cobwebs.
Well, White was doing so well, but that overhand right is never...
Oh, and a left has got him hurt again. White steps away, staggers, still on his feet, and Anaya right after him. White holding on, and the ring ropes are keeping him up.
Yeah, he's got no legs left.
There's a right, and he staggers and goes down in the corner. You can see the clock here in round 2. The count's at 4.
5.
He's up at 5.
6.
6.
7.
Okay.
8. Are you all right?
He says he's all right. He'd better get on his horse. Anaya's coming after him. White had a very good start to the second round, and then midway through he slowed a bit, and then Anaya nailed him.
I'm not sure White is all right, but he may last the second round.
I think he's going to. Remember, the bell can't save him, but there's the bell, and the round is over. And White knocked down in round number 2 just when it appeared that he was having things his way. Over in his corner, and his handlers working on him quite feverishly. Boy, Al, all of a sudden that right hand and then a left, and he really...
Behind 2 rounds now, big. Get your ass off the deck now. Come on.
Complete turnaround.
Okay?
I'm coming in, baby.
Now, come on. You're standing right there in front of him. You're fighting.
And here is where it will happen. The overhand right that hurts him. Oh, his left very low. That was a straighter right.
Boy, it
Not
was
so
indeed.
much an overhand right.
It was
that sends
indeed.
him down. And that's Don Lamont.
Anaya had hurt him earlier, Al, with that overhand clubbing right when he got him against the ropes. Nailed him a couple of solid shots, and when White got away and tried to slip along the ropes to elude him, why, he really got nailed with a straight right. Interesting to see if he's able to weather the storm here, and out they come for round number 3. Anaya in black, and White, who was down in the second round, and his gold and blue trunks are splattered with blood now.
Henry Anaya, a wonderful amateur, had over 250 amateur fights, won a bunch of titles, and that experience showing here. Well, look at Anthony White come back.
Well, he's going to have to put on that kind of a concerted effort, I think, for maybe 3 solid minutes.
My scoring may look a little odd to some people because I made the last round a 10-9 round for Anaya for this reason. I thought White had run the first 3/4 of the round big and then was knocked down. So I want to give Anaya the round, but I didn't feel the 10-8 round was appropriate.
Well, White is electing to stay right there and slug with Anaya. White came into this fight with a 7-1 record and 6 knockouts of his own. Anaya banging with the left, and White trying to keep him off with that jab. Short jabs, uppercuts. Here's where Anaya got him in trouble in round 2. Had him up against the ropes. Hit him a couple of solid shots to the jaw, and then nailed him with the right hand as he was staggering away. This is round 3, and this welterweight battle is scheduled for 6.
Scheduled is the operative word. The uppercut now of Anaya, you know, they've traded off on that uppercut. Each man has occasionally been doing it well. What is keeping Anthony White up?
I don't know. He staggered away from that little exchange, and he really wasn't hit a solid shot. There's a left hand.
His legs are just about gone. He's staying there in the heart. Good body work by Anaya. That's smart on his part. That'll help him get White out of there if he's to do it. Now, this is where Anthony White doesn't want to be. When he was effective in this fight, it was when he was in the middle of the ring moving and using his long reach.
He may be forced to assume this posture, Al, as you say, waiting for his legs to get some form of life back in him. This may be his only ploy. If he can keep throwing punches and bunches, why, he might just keep Anaya preoccupied. This round could be over, and he could get some kind of a respite anyway.
And here, Anaya made a big mistake in that when he had him against the ropes. He's not moving to hit him at angle. He's standing right in front of White, and he let White off the hook there. They were yelling from his corner, use angles, Henry, and he wasn't doing it. Big mistake right there.
You have to marvel a bit at the energy these two guys have got. I mean, they have just been non-stop with these punches.
Wonderful effort.
White in the gold in the slap to the left hand again. White hanging with the left and the right, and Anaya just won't let him get anywhere but right in front of him. White doesn't have the legs to really get up and move, and there's the bell, and that's round 3. And I think a great deal of credit ought to go to White, who managed to survive round 3 in a pretty good fashion as well. You're into the corner there with Henry Anaya Jr. He's a 22-year-old welder. And we'll visit him with the microphone.
This is your round, baby. Let me see your eyes.
When you get him on the ropes, I want you to space yourself a little bit.
I know you're trying. Don't worry about it. So is he. He's more tired than you are.
He's really worn out.
Every time you hit him in the
Vaseline off.
I'm going to do it right now. Give me a chance here, Ref.
Okay.
Okay.
Él no guarda para arriba.
This is your fight. This is your round.
Here is Henry Anaya with the overhand right.
Let's get out.
And that was a weapon that, he's used throughout these first few rounds.
Get out.
Here they go, round number 4, scheduled for 6. White's up on his toes and moving now a little bit better. Bring that left hand a little low. I think White's going to have to give you 3 solid minutes of up and moving and jabbing and
Step back.
tying up Anaya if he's going to regain his composure and get on with this fight.
If he could keep it like this in the center of the ring, he would still have a shot at this fight, possibly. There again, the body work and what Anaya has done to him has taken its toll from his legs. Anthony White fighting most of the fight in this posture off the ropes. He's still got the hand speed there, and in the center of the ring can land those combinations. Tougher off the ropes.
In round number 2, in case you were late joining us, why, Anaya, he's in black, decked White, and had him all but out, but White got away.
The big chance for White in this fight is the left hook. He has rocked Anaya with a couple left hooks, and that's the punch that's there for him. He can still hurt Anaya with that left hook, I believe, even in his current state with all the punishment he's taken.
Anaya keeps him pinned against the ropes. Banging away to the body.
What wonderful body work by Anaya.
Now White steps away, and we'll see if indeed he can use that jab. Now he's right back in the ropes again, and Anaya drops 2 right hands on him. Left hook, now an uppercut. White being battered about, up on the ropes, and Anaya not letting him get away.
See, when Anaya bends down to throw that right, that's when the hook is there, and White has landed it a couple times, but not the way he should, and Anaya just stays so busy, it makes it hard to be offensive.
White gets away from the ropes, and we'll see now if he can do some fighting at long range. Anaya won't let him. All the punches Anaya's thrown out, you'd think he'd punch himself out, but he just keeps coming with more leather, doesn't he?
Reminiscent of another Jack Loose and New Mexico fighter, Tommy Cordova, who we saw in so many fights. You would just wind him up, and he would keep going like that.
Now White retaliating. Good hand speed of his own, and he buffets Anaya about.
Some of those were blocked, but still, it's a good sign for White that he can do that.
Round 4, busy as the others, coming to a close. Scheduled for 6. We'll be back. That's White in the yellow trunks, splattered with blood. Anaya in black. Anaya had White down in round number 2 and had him all but knocked out. How he survived the second round is a marvel. And he's been getting belted about by Anaya ever since. The instructions in White's corner between rounds, hey, you better take this guy out because you're losing this fight.
Don LeMaster told him that you have to get a knockout, and that's reflected in my scoring. I have Anaya winning every single round. He's up 40-36 on my card, and I'm sure it is something like that. And the judges, they might have him farther ahead because they might have given him the second round 10-8. In a very consistent effort by Henry Anaya. And against a guy, I don't think it's a fluke that White is 7-1. He's got lots of skills as a fighter. It's just that Anaya has imposed his will on him and fought his fight.
And White is not without some punching ability. Of his 7 victories, 6 have been knockouts. Anaya's knocked out 4 of the men that he's defeated. He's 6-0.
There's the hook by White. When he gets leverage on that punch, he can do some damage with it.
Well, he certainly is starting from working on an uphill position now, Bernstein. He's trailing, I'm sure. He's going to have to do some magical things for himself to pull this one out.
Oh, he'll have to get a knockout, I think. Now, he's landing some pretty good shots here in this round. Certainly winning this round. He was winning the second, remember, until he got nailed with an overhand right. And the way his lazy jab is out there now, White could get hit with another right hand. But what is White doing in this round that he didn't do in the last couple? He's throwing that left hook, and he is landing.
And he has not allowed Anaya to pin him up against the ropes and just pummel him like he was the heavy bag in the back of the gym.
He has kept it in the center of the ring, and when he's in the center of the ring from the outside, White is winning this fight.
Yes, at least he's having his best round, notwithstanding about the first minute of round number 2. He looked quite impressive then.
Yeah, first couple minutes.
And then the lights almost went out. They certainly dimmed.
And I mentioned that Anaya in the fight with Joey Camacho, G1 and 6, he really tired out in the later round. So we'll see if that is happening here.
Well, that would certainly be understandable. This kid Anaya has thrown enough leather to...
Good right hand. I think Anaya was hurt, Tom, by that right hand. I don't even think that White understood it. I think he definitely was hurt, and he's very tired. For White, this is the time to really go after Anaya. I mean, he has got to go after him. Look, he can land the right hand.
But again.
Oh,
my.
Low blow. That was a low
White
blow.
says he's hurt.
Another low blow.
Maybe Pearl, the referee, has not taken cognizance of it.
Apparently not. He could give him some time. Well, that will turn things around here. What a bad break for White.
That's the bell, ending round number 5. And the crowd with a chorus of boos. I don't think it's for these two fighters.
No.
It might be for the...
Now, come on. Give me that round again. Give me that round right back again. You got me? Give me that round. Right here's the spit bucket.
That had to be as good a round as White has had. You're listening in on his corner.
Get ready. Come on now. Come on, son.
I will stop him.
Last round. You got to stop him.
Here's where, now there's a good right hand by White. He's got him in trouble. There's an obvious low blow. I don't know why Davy Pearl missed it. He was looking right at it. And there's one right there. Well, that one was marginal. Might have been legal. But the first one is the one that did the damage.
Like an amateur. Transfer that weight, okay?
All right, boss man.
Let's go. I can't have 1 minute of late.
I got this.
That's Anaya Jr., Henry Anaya. You heard the instructions to White, and they come out to touch gloves for the 6th round. White was down in round number 2. These are welterweights, 148 pounds. Anaya, 147.5 for White. After 5 rounds, here's the way Al Bernstein's got his scorecard tallied up.
Now, I've got a 3-point edge. I can guarantee you, though, the judges have a 4-point edge because I'm pretty sure they made that second round a 10-8 round for
But you gave White the last round, I would assume.
Yes, oh, yeah. And that's why I had him pulling the, you've got to give White the last round. What a difference. Now, there's the overhand right from Anaya, but it doesn't have the same power it did before. There's White back in that posture that's wrong for him. Now, there he spun out. Had he been doing that during the fight, he would have been in good shape for this fight.
But he got nailed in the second round, and down he went, and it took the balance of that round to survive. There's a clubbing right hand again by Anaya.
What a wonderful effort by both these men. White in desperate trouble earlier, came back. They're both so tired. Why not? What a pace.
Ben not stopped. Anaya a bit wild with his punching, but landing with him. Some. At any rate, he's got White pretty well occupied and pressed right back into Anaya's corner. Not the place for White to be for a man who's got a lot of points to make up and a knockout in order to win.
I think White has really underused his jab in this fight. When he's used it, it's been effective at setting other things up, like the straight right and even the left hook. But he has not been effective with it, or not used it as much as he should.
Well, whoever's in charge of conditioning ought to take a kudo, because these two guys are in shape. Neither one scoring a lot here. Clubbing punches.
Both are slapping a little bit. Yeah. They're just tired. It's been as quick a pace six-rounder as you will ever see.
And, of course, we're less than a half minute remaining here in this, the sixth round.
This is
White again in gold and Anaya in black.
This is the kind of fight that, with a 7-1 guy, 6-0, even the loser, even the winner, excuse me, will have something taken out of him in this fight. As a manager, you hate to see your fighter in this kind of fight. As a fan, it's very exciting.
Anaya's got enough left to keep driving White back. Very close to the bell. There it is, and this one's over. The crowd had to like this. It indeed was a very interesting and exciting fight. White knocked down in the second round. Anaya had all the best of it in that round. White lucky to survive. Came back and had the best moments of the fight for him in round number 5, but had a lot of territory to make up. And perhaps, as Al indicated, needed a knockout to win, and it just wasn't going to be. Chuck Hall is about the ringside now, collecting the scorecards of the judges.
They gonna give it up.
In a bit, we'll find out. One assumes that Anaya is the winner. Neither man marked up to speak of, despite all the punches thrown, and of course, White, the only knockdown victim, and that came in the second round. And that's White.
Don LeMaster with him, and Don, a well-known boxing figure in the state of Texas, along with Dave Gorman. And, you know, for White, and shaking his head, in some ways, it wasn't a bad effort. It's just that he had certain bad spots in certain rounds that ended up turning the tide against him.
Doctor's taking a look at White. That's a formality, I believe. Here's Chuck Hall with the decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is the decision of the judges. We have a unanimous decision. Judge Dalby Shirley scores 58-55. Judge Patricia Jorman scores 59-54. And Judge Art Lurie scores 58-56. For the winner by unanimous decision, and still undefeated, Henry Anaya Jr.
Well, I tell you, you were right on again, Al. You had it a 4-point, 5-point fight. You gave Anaya the last round as well. And, of course, the knockdown in the second round. Anaya defeats White, continues. He's unbeaten. We'll be back. More boxing right after this. From one of the most dramatic accidents.